Well, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is Pastor D.L. Page, the proud pastor of the New Baptist Church, a place of hope here in the city of Indianapolis, Indiana. We're located at 1211 Dr. Martin Luther King Street, Indianapolis, Indiana. And I'm here to share a couple of things with you, what is happening in our space at 1211 Dr. Martin Luther King Street here in Indianapolis, Indiana. I want to share with you that we have a broadcast each and every day. It's called The Good News at Noonday. The Good News at Noonday. And you will be able to hear what's going on at noonday by way of our YouTube channel. And you can find us, as you have already found us, at New Baptist Church, a place of hope. And you just type that in and you can find us. And you'll be hearing different messages of what we do on Noonday. We're in a series of Noonday entitled Keeping Your Faith When People Let You Down. Keeping your faith when people let you down. And I'm excited to share that with you in the days to come. There's certain things you and I must do when people disappoint us or when people let us down. And so the scripture shares with us, it gives us a blueprint of how to handle things when that happens to us. When somebody lets you down or when somebody disappoints you. And so I'm excited to share that with you in the days to come. Also want to let you know what's going on at our church. We're in a series talking about praying in faith. And my brothers and sisters, we've been in this series the month of June. In the month of April, we looked at a series entitled Putting God First. Because if you are a disciple of Jesus Christ, God must be first. And then in the month of May, we dealt with a series entitled not only Putting God First, but living in the Word. Because if you're going to be a disciple of Jesus the Christ, you got to make sure God is priority. Secondly, you got to make sure you live in the Word. And then you got to pray in faith. And today I want to give you an extract of the sermon that I preached on Sunday. It was entitled The New Life, from Ephesians chapter 4, verse 22 through 32. When you get a chance, read it. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 22 through 32. It's entitled The New Life. And I asked the congregation, them, what must I confess? Because Paul, in that letter to the Ephesians, he stated several things that we need to put away. In other words, Paul was saying there were several things you and I need to get rid of. And he talked about the new life. He did a comparison of the old life and what we used to do. And then he did a comparison of the new life and the way it should be. And he says, take off some stuff. Let that stuff go. In other words, there's some things you and I must confess. And as you read Ephesians chapter 4, verse 22, there's a list of things. Some say that Paul listed at least 11 things that you and I need to get rid of. And I consider that as sin. What sin must I confess? And then we asked the question on Sunday in the place of hope, how is my relationship with the Father? Because if I'm going to pray in faith, I got to make sure that I'm right with God. We miss the blessings of God because we're not in right and proper fellowship with God. We miss the blessings of God because we're not in right relationship and fellowship with God. Here's three things that Paul told us to get rid of. He said, get rid of deceitful desires. He tells us to get rid of deceitful desires. Then he tells us to get rid of falsehood. And that's another way of saying, just stop lying. Stop lying, my brother. Stop lying, my sister. He says, get rid of falsehood. And then he says, get rid of anger. And my brothers and sisters, deceitful desires is a sin. Lying is a sin. I don't care how we dress it up. We can say falsehood or whatever you want to say. Lying is a sin. And then anger is a sin. Anger is a sin. And my brothers and sisters, I looked at that passage of scripture and we compared that lying. There was a young man by the name of Isaac. He had a beautiful wife by the name of Rebekah. You can find that in Genesis chapter 26. And he told a group of people that his wife was his sister. He told a group of people his wife was his sister. In other words, he was lying. And it came to a point that one individual seen him hugging his sister, but it was his wife. And he called Isaac in and he said to Isaac, why did you lie to us? That is your wife. Isaac explained. He said he was scared in the midst of it. He said this, I was afraid. But the individual who called him in said this, if one of the men would have touched your wife, you would have brought on a great sin among us. My brothers and sisters, when we lie, it can cause great sins upon someone else. One lie can cause great sin upon many. My brothers and sisters, Paul says in the midst of it, get rid of deceitful desires. Get rid of falsehood. Get rid of lying. Get rid of anger. We just looked at those three. But you read Ephesians chapter 4, verse 22 through 32. There's a lot more in there. My brothers and sisters, that's our update. That's Hope News. That's some of the things we're teaching at the New Baptist Church, a place of hope here in Indianapolis, Indiana. I pray that you will come join us one Sunday. Our service starts at 10 a.m. Please check us out. I'll have an update tomorrow for what is going on with the good news at noonday. Be blessed. We'll be back with you this week for another update entitled The Hope News.